Welcome to the first episode of Series 65, everyone. In today's episode, we begin this series with 2 games on the lighter end of spooky as we ease into the month of October.
After this episode, join us for our usual thoughts on this recording, as well as our normal announcements and shout-outs about Patreon, including a new patron, some info for AcadeCon Events, an upcoming charity event by one of our friends, and a new review. It's action-packed. It's action-packed.
Cold open.
Absolutely. It's the place to be after the episode.
Exactly. Until then, enjoy the show, everyone. Welcome to Character Creation Cast, a show where we discuss and create characters, the best part of role-playing games, with guests using their favorite systems. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan, and this episode, my co-host Amelia and I are by ourselves to check out a bunch of micro games that would be a great fit for Spooky Month.
That's right, everyone. Ryan lied in the intro where he said we discuss things with guests.
Hey, we're guests to ourselves.
That's true. It's fine. Welcome, Ryan. It's great to have you here.
It's good to have you here too, Amelia. Tradition dictates October is Spooky Month, so you know what that means.
Spooky things?
Spooky games.
Spooky things?
Exactly. Spooky things. It's where you are more powerful than you are any other time of year.
Yes, this we are in my season. I showed Brian today. I am wearing a t-shirt that is a skeleton and a little skeleton dog decorating a Christmas tree. I know it is not Christmas time, but it is skeleton time. So I am wearing my favorite Christmas skeleton t-shirt that, yes, my family did buy for me because they understand me.
Exactly.
We are going to be covering a decent variety of games in this series. Today, we're going to focus on 2 games to just kind of dip our toes into spooky vibes. We're going to kind of turn it up as we go through the month. So we're going to start with spooky, but in a fun way. So in this episode, we are covering It Wasn't Us Meddling Kids by Ursidice and Object Kilo by Jason Morningstar, which is found in James D'Amato's Ultimate Micro RPG book.
So let's go ahead and get into this, and we can start by discussing what these games are all about.
What's in a game?
So the first one that we were going to talk about was It Wasn't Us Meddling Kids. This is one that I believe I got as one of the any entries.
That would make sense. It was published in 2021.
Okay. So yeah, either in 21 or 22, depending on when in the year it was published. I don't remember.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
I believe this one is Pay What You Want on ursidice.com or found on itch.io and whatever. We'll have links in the show notes.
Yes, definitely. But yeah, we got a couple fun like one-pager games. So I liked this one because it was silly.
This one's fantastic.
So I will just read the intro if that's cool with you, just to give everybody an idea of what this is. You won't find it on his Wikipedia page, but after releasing his hit album, Hot Shot, Grammy Award winner Shaggy took some time off to join a bunch of TV-famous paranormal investigators and their dog as they traveled across America in their van, the Curiosity Camper. Due to a licensing issue, Shaggy wasn't allowed to use the titles of any of his hit songs during this period and had to get by with the help of a thesaurus and his own ability to improvise whenever he was required to perform.
Wow.
No matter where the Curiosity Camper pulled up, something spooky was sure to happen, but the investigators and the audience know that there's usually someone behind all the freaky goings-on. Jinkies. So yes, that Shaggy, Grammy Award winner Shaggy.
Yeah.
And his team in the Curiosity Camper.
Yeah. You know that long-running cartoon series that has had multiple iterations?
Yeah.
That Shaggy.
That Shaggy.
Only the Grammy Award winner.
He's also
version.
Grammy Award winning
Exactly.
artist Shaggy. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Gosh,
it wasn't
this
him.
game just no. Lord,
it's just what a good concept for a game. Like
it is such a good concept.
This one tickled me so much when I first read it. I was like, this is somebody who just like wants a good time and is like, let's be silly.
Exactly. A little bit spooky, a lot of fun. So to play this game, we need 6d6 and a copy of Grammy Award winner Shaggy's hit 2000s album, Hot Shot.
All right.
So those are required. I do not have the Hot Shot album, unfortunately.
Well, we have Spotify.
But we're not going to be playing the game, so.
We also do have Spotify, so I'm sure.
We do have Spotify. Okay, sure.
I'll pull it up here.
We just cannot play any of the songs for us listeners because we do not have the rights. Okay. So how do we, there's really not much else to say about the setup for this game. It's basically Scooby-Doo, only not.
Mm-hmm.
And so we need to create some stuff for that. So how about we go ahead and make some people, I guess, or place, whatever.
Yeah.
Let's make some people.
So it says you start by working out some details about the team. Then you generate a location, monster, and the supporting cast. And then once you've done that, you jump into kind of playing the game. So
creating some scenes and stuff.
Creating scenes and
yeah.
We'll see. We'll see if we feel like doing that. Everyone,
I think
this series is just vibes. No thoughts, just vibes.
We are shooting from the hip here, and we're just having some fun. We had so much fun
last time we did micro games that we've been like itching to do it again. And just the way scheduling worked and the way that like finding a spooky game to cover and everything worked. I'm honestly really excited about this though, because I love what we've come up with our micro games in the past. Like it's just we got
a good list.
We got a t-shirt out of one last time.
That's true.
Sims 4 esports shirt available on the One Shot Tea Public store for anybody interested. Okay. So let's start by creating the team. I have the album up on Spotify if we should need it. I'm sorry, everyone, you'll have to sing it to yourselves because we don't have rights for that.
I don't think we need to play the album. I think we just need it on hand.
If we played the game, yeah. But I do have it on hand. I did find it, so.
That's good. Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
Always be prepared.
All right, so the team are paranormal investigators who have been on the road for longer than they care to remember.
Mm-hmm.
As well as Grammy Award-winning musician Shaggy. The team is made up of, do you want to read them?
Yeah. Okay, so we have Doggy Doo, a large dog who is able to talk a bit. Greg, an arrogant guy who calls himself the leader. Wilma, easily the smartest member of the group. And Phoebe, an enthusiastic but clumsy go-getter. So what's interesting about this game is you don't create characters. We get the characters handed to us, but we get to decide looks, the history, and kind of like the tension that each character has with the other team members.
Yeah, we're going to do like basically some backstory. We know who the people are and kind of vaguely their personalities. But we get to kind of flesh them out. So I'm going to pull up my notebook here.
Certainly.
All right. So we take turns to suggest a look, a piece of history, a tension with another member of the team for each person. So let's, do you want to start with Doggy Doo? Do you want to just go down the list or is there
let's
someone?
Just go down the list.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Right.
Sure.
So let's start with Doggy Doo.
Okay. So a large dog who is able to talk a bit. I don't think I want to go the Great Dane route.
Yeah.
That Scooby-Doo is. What do you think of, what is it? The sheepdog? The big one that usually is depicted with the canister of stuff.
Oh, it's a St. Bernard.
St. Bernard. St. Bernards are large.
Large. They are large. Lorge.
They are large. I also think it would be hilarious to use a rendition of Winnie.
Oh, yes, Winnie. Yes, I think Doggy Doo is a sheepadoodle.
Yes.
Okay. Doggy Doo is going to be...
So we've got a sheepadoodle.
For anyone
Doggy Doo
who doesn't know, because I know that we do have listeners that are not like terminally online.
Yes.
My parents, my family has a sheepadoodle, which is a sheepdog poodle mix, who is large, and as my sister says, big naughty. Yeah, she's the cutest thing ever. Maybe we'll post some pictures of her when this episode comes out somewhere.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So we got Doggy Doo.
She's also incredibly smart. So I would like to point this fact out about Winnie. She's super smart. And I know everybody says their dogs are smart. Winnie likes to eat my dad's houseplants. My dad is very meticulous about his houseplants. Winnie's not supposed to eat the houseplants. So when my dad catches her eating the houseplants, she pretends to be asleep. She will like take a bite out of them. My dad will catch her and, like yell at her or whatever. And she lays down and closes her eyes and like pretends to be asleep like she wasn't doing anything. It's, so.
Amazing. That'll help with monster hunting.
I think it'll be great. She like knows how to play asleep.
Yep, exactly. That's like halfway to dead.
Yeah, it doesn't play dead, but like, yeah. Yes, I would love for Doggy Doo to be a sheepadoodle. That would be great.
Perfect.
Okay.
Doggy Doo is a sheepadoodle. Yes, black and white. A la Winnie.
Yeah, black and white, kind of curly, fuzzy hair.
Absolutely. Looks like a Muppet.
Yes, it really does.
Very important details.
Yes, it looks like a Muppet.
Okay. What's a good piece of history for Doggy Doo?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. So I'm thinking back to like the source material here. I don't know anything about the history of Scooby-Doo. Do you?
The actual Scooby-Doo lore?
Like where did Scooby
why
come
is
from?
Scooby-Doo there? Where does he come from?
Like I know
and why
he's
does
Shaggy's
he talk a bit?
dog, right? Like that's pretty clear that they're a team.
I know the Mystery Incorporated has a bit more interesting lore around the talking animals bit, but I haven't been able to like pay attention watch while my kids were watching the whole series for like the third time.
Yeah.
And I picked up that there's other dogs that can talk in the world.
Interesting.
There's like birds that can talk, like not just parrots, but like sentient, hold conversation sort of thing.
I like the idea that our dog would just be like the only talking dog.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a good idea. I think that this was some kind of like
back to the roots.
Yeah. Well, I think that this is, I mean, if we're hunting monsters and stuff like this, I feel like that's how this started. Is like it's some kind of like, I don't know if it's like a curse from a witch or if it's like a weird fairy magic or drank a potion.
What if Doggy Doo got partially like inhabited by one of the ghosts?
Oh, interesting.
Like, so now it's like this dog spirit hybrid.
Okay. I also like the idea, because it's a dog, and I've had dogs all my life, so this is a very true thing that could happen, is Doggy Doo just got into something that they weren't supposed to get into. Like in the pantry. That's very good. There was just something like
we do.
Maybe
their
previous owner was a witch of some kind, and just like you ate the wrong kind of.
Just ate the wrong thing.
The wrong thing off the shelf or off the counter one day, and
the wrong combination of things.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's not every ingredient by itself was fine, but this pupper, Doggy Doo, just went right for just the whole shebang. Got so far, got caught. And that it just happens to be,
right.
You just happen to create a potion in your tummy.
Well, and then I think, like maybe that's the final ingredient that you would need for that to work is love. And obviously everybody loves their dog.
Yeah.
So like, ate the ingredients, got loved too much, and now they can talk.
Now they can talk. I like that a lot.
Okay.
That's a good history for Doggy
I love it. All right. So ate a bunch of stuff. Got too much love.
Made a potion in their belly.
And I'm going to put too much in air quotes because that's not really a thing.
No. Okay. So who does Doggy Doo have tension with? What is the tension? I
want it to be more than somebody's just like not into dogs,
Right.
I want it to be, and you can certainly, offer another option if you have something, but I kind of want it to be that like Doggy Doo likes to gossip.
Okay.
And so there's somebody else on the team that's like, Doggy Doo has some hot goss, and like this person's like, no, do not tell people what you saw. And there's some tension there because they're like, oh, Doggy Doo knows this now.
I think it has to be Wilma.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because like Greg seems like an arrogant guy who calls himself the leader, right? So he's arrogant, so he's never going to admit to any faults or anything like that, right? And Phoebe is just carefree, but
I
clumsy.
think Phoebe loves some hot goss.
Yeah,
Phoebe wants to know the tea.
And I think Wilma's like, hey, I know if this, I'm smart enough to know if this sort of thing gets out.
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna be too happy about this. So you gotta keep it under wraps.
Right.
And Doggy Doo's just like,
let me tell you.
I just need some snacks then.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. So we got some tension with Wilma
like
because
blackmail for snacks.
Yeah, because Doggy Doo likes to gossip. Is Doggy Doo what gender do we have for Doggy Doo?
Let's just go with she, her pronouns.
Okay.
Because since we're modeling Doggy Doo after Winnie a bit.
Okay.
Just make things easier.
And right. So Doggy Doo likes to gossip. Wilma doesn't want stuff to get out.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So then what about Greg? What's a good look for Greg?
Let's see here. Greg. How do we see Greg? So we can do like kind of like classic preppy kind of thing. We could do like, you know, like the sort of like jock guys that you know in high school that are like always just in t-shirts and gym shorts.
Yeah, okay.
You know, you can do sort of like hipster vibes. We could do.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I'm kind of leading hipster vibes for Greg.
Hipster vibe? Like suit hipster?
No, like really particular about their coffee and kombucha hipster.
Well, that still could be soup hipster or suit hipster.
I'm picturing like flannel, like.
Oh, okay.
You know,
because I was thinking like well-dressed, trendy hipster, but like flannel hipster could be fine.
I don't think of that as hipster. That seems like.
I'm thinking big city hipster.
I don't feel like there's any like kind of hipster that like does suit
I guess
and tie.
There's a lot of different types of hipsters out there.
Now I have to Google, and so you're gonna have to cut all this out. But
hipster images. Yeah, I mean the flannel. We've got button down. We got button down flannel. We got suspenders flannel. Suspenders no flannel. There's all sorts of hipsters. Usually hat is involved. Mm-hmm. Big beard, glasses.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of suits in here.
Yeah, I think you're right. Suit hipster might be a thing that I made up. Suit hipster.
Okay, so like there's also the option of like tech bro too. I think is another good potential for that like that like arrogant guy who calls himself
like
the leader.
Big into NFTs and stuff.
Oh my god, ew, is Greg an NFT bro?
It's gotta.
I think he has to be. Like I think,
bro, he has to.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we started down that path, and now Greg is the worst. Okay, all right. So Greg,
NFT
Greg
bro, that's the look.
NFT bro. So I think he wears a lot of like. So is he like, you know, like nice, like dressed up tech bro, or is he like I'm so down to earth and casual and I wear my black hoodie tech bro?
I think he likes to think he dresses nice.
Okay.
But I do like the thought of it still being kind of that hipster look, right?
Okay.
But like so like button down shirt, but flannel to be more relatable. Mm-hmm. But still well kempt. Okay. And like glasses, big beard.
Yeah, so he's wearing like top of the line best brand of jeans and flannels and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like he wants to look kind of have like a hipster vibe, but it's also like I know that pair of jeans cost you $600.
Yeah.
Okay.
This guy was an early adopter of like Bitcoin, right? Mm-hmm. I think this would tie more into the history. Let me know what you think. But I think he made it big by like being an early adopter of Bitcoin. That's why he has the funds to pay for these cross-country travels to fight monsters and discover these mysteries, right?
Yeah.
That's why he calls himself the leader.
All right, so he's an early adopter of Bitcoin, which is why he's able to fund the Curiosity Camper. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm curious then, as far as his history, why does he fund this?
I think, gosh, that's a good question.
Is he doing it like, whereas he's like, I don't know, like, I just want to get in touch with like the fundamental nature of the spiritual and supernatural.
Yeah.
Like, is that his vibe?
Yeah, like he thinks he's conquered the material world.
Okay.
So now he needs to conquer the spiritual world.
I see. He's already done everything that like...
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I love it. He's already conquered the physical world.
Uh-huh. Craig.
And because he's like got so much Bitcoin and stuff, he's like, I've already conquered the tech world too. So like, this is, you know, like I've got, you know, meat space and cyberspace down.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
So good.
Oh my God, I hate him. Okay, so he's an NFT bro that wears flannel and jeans, but they're super expensive. He's an early adopter of Bitcoin, and he funds the Curiosity Camper because he's already conquered the physical and technical worlds. So he's moved on to supernatural. Okay.
So what's the tension that he has with another team member?
Let's see here. I think there's got to be somebody who's like, I feel like somebody's got to be at odds with him because they're like, you're doing this for the wrong reasons. Like, you can't conquer the supernatural world. Like, you can't.
Right.
You can't own it the way you think that you own everybody else. And Greg also feels like the kind of person that would be like, I totally got a hold on it. Like, I know what the next thing, like, you know, he's very sure of himself.
Right.
In a way that he should not be.
Right.
And so, like, part of me wants to be like, okay, well, obviously Wilma would take issue with that. But, like, I don't know.
Just Wilma's got a beef with everybody.
Well, I feel like I don't want that. I don't know. I kind of feel like it might be Phoebe because I feel like because it says, like, she's enthusiastic. And so I feel like she's really into this because she wants to, like...
She's doing it for the right reasons.
Well, because she really wants to get in touch with the spiritual stuff. Not because she thinks she can be in charge of it, but because she wants to learn more about herself through it.
That sounds like a good tension.
Yeah. So I think the tension is with Phoebe because she feels like Greg is really selfish.
Yeah.
And
that makes
and honestly, he kind of is. Okay.
Kinda.
Yeah. So I'm going to say he's got tension with Phoebe.
Yeah.
Because he's not doing it for the right reasons.
Right.
God, I hate Greg. Okay. All right. So next we have Wilma.
Smartest member of the group.
What is Wilma up to?
Okay. So obviously this is Velma from the Scooby-Doo series. Velma is very cozy, right? And I would love to subvert tropes here.
Okay.
What if Wilma has like a what is it called? Like the librarian business suit sort of look to her. Like the power suit or whatever.
Okay.
Type look. So somebody that is like they look like somebody that has the knowledge and the smarts and stuff like that.
Okay. So she looks like, yeah, I mean, I feel like librarian is roughly what you're going for, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
It's a lot of tweed.
Yep.
Definitely wears glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I love it.
What's a good piece of history for Wilma?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the history has kind of been like a good place to be like, why are you here? You know, like why are you trying to solve mysteries with a dog and Grammy artist Shaggy?
And Grammy artist Shaggy,
yeah. I am going to go out on a limb here and say Wilma doesn't believe in any supernatural anything.
Oh, Wilma's the skeptic.
Wilma is the skeptic. Wilma is like, we know it's always businessman Jones under this costume.
There's always a mask.
But there's always, yeah.
Never mind, we have a talking dog.
Right, we're not worried about the talking dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, we'll get to that later. Yeah, I think Wilma's a skeptic.
Okay.
And I think maybe she's hoping to write some kind of like academic paper on this and be like, look, no.
Yeah. No nonsense, Wilma.
Yeah. Yeah. So she's definitely a skeptic who's out to uncover like the truth of the situation, or like whether it's a conspiracy or something, but it's like, she's sure it's not supernatural.
I wonder what her big secret is then that Doggy is aware of.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, is like, we don't know if it's like a big secret or if it's just some gossip, you know?
That's true.
The Doggy is like, she doesn't actually need those glasses, you know?
Oh.
I mean, it could be that little, we don't know.
Could be something petty, could be something huge.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it being vague. That's good.
All right. So once I uncover the actual truth.
Yes.
Like how I said that actual.
So now she needs attention with another member of the team.
Yeah.
Does she have tension with Phoebe because she is not able to like let loose and she kind of resents that Phoebe is that way all the time?
Oh, that could be. I was thinking she'd also have tension with Greg because because he thinks he already knows so much and he doesn't.
Yeah.
That like, he's one of those people that like recites the facts that he saw on some TikTok video, and she's like, that's not true. And he's like, yeah, it is. I saw it on the internet. Like,
saw it on TikTok.
Yeah.
Somebody said they had sources.
And he just like says everything like it's fact. Like, I've been watching a lot of TikToks lately about like the concept of like the way like men talk versus the way women talk, that like men like say these things with authority even though they're not true, and then women have a tendency to say things that they know are true in this sort of like questioning tone, because it's like you don't want to be seen as aggressive or authoritative. And it's a thing that I definitely do a lot. I'm like, well, like, we could maybe do this, what do you think? Or like I put question marks at the end of everything I say, even when it's not a question, because it's like, if I ask it as a question, maybe, you know, like, what would you think about that? And so I feel like there's some tension of that in there, maybe, that like,
I do,
you know, she's like,
that feels a bit more interesting.
Yeah, that she's like, I'm really smart and I know these things. Yeah. And Greg thinks he's smart. You know?
Yes. Because NFTs are the future, man.
Yeah. So I was like, Greg thinks he's smart.
Could put the blockchain on anything. And
I think the tension is too that like people listen to him before they listen to her, even though she's like, I have 4 PhDs.
I know, right?
You know?
Yep. Canonically, she does.
Yeah. And yeah, so it's like, because Greg thinks he's smart and so do other people.
Yeah. She got them on the road too.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous, like the accomplishment. It's like I've been solving mysteries for like decades and I've got 4 PhDs while we were investigating all these mysteries.
I think she's got 4 PhDs and a Nobel Prize.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if Shaggy can have Grammys, Wilma can have a Nobel Prize. Okay.
Just totally under the radar.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that's the tension.
That's so good. Okay. All right.
Look.
And
down
finally,
with the patriarchy, okay?
Darn, seriously.
All right. Finally, Phoebe. What?
And finally, Phoebe.
What is up with our sweet Phoebe?
Enthusiastic but clumsy go-getter. Okay, so this is the Daphne counterpart, right?
Yeah.
I wonder, all I can think of is Phoebe from Friends.
Oh, yeah.
Is this Phoebe from Friends?
I've not really watched Friends. It was like
I used to watch it a long time ago. Yeah.
And also I was like super sheltered.
But I know
that she's like the lovable, clumsy kind of.
Yeah, lovable, clumsy, plays guitar, very like free-spirited type of individual, and dressed in a very like free-spirited sort of way.
Okay, so she's got kind of like a hippie vibe, right?
Yeah.
I mean, do we want this to just be Phoebe from Friends?
That's what I'm thinking. This is literally Phoebe, for the character Phoebe from Friends, not the actress who plays Phoebe. No. The character that Phoebe must have been based off of.
Yeah. Okay. She's just Phoebe from Friends. She plays guitar.
Just very go with the flow.
Yeah. A few fries short of a Happy Meal. I mean, this is what I know about. So, I could be wrong, but
that's pretty accurate. So, what's a good history?
Well, I mean, maybe she grew up in like sort of like a coven collective kind of a, I mean, because we said that she's she's a real believer.
Yeah. So that would make sense. That she had kind of like a coven thing going on there. And I want to say she went on the road with them, with this group, because she had a falling out with her multiple roommates and neighbors who were her best friends. But ever since her twin came into town, there was some bad blood between them for some reason.
Her twin?
Yeah, she's got a twin on the show, who also is featured in another show that she plays that character of.
Okay.
And then they mixed the shows together. They had a crossover episode at one point. And so they said, hey, you play this character on this show. What if we made them twins?
Oh.
Since they're existing in the same universe now.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So she grew up in this kind of coven environment, and then her twin shows up, and it kind of causes a rift in her.
Yeah, a rift between her friend circle. And she decides, I need to go on this this sabbatical, I guess. And I need to get back in touch with my spiritual side to become, the happy-go-lucky Phoebe again. And this has just lasted for decades.
Okay.
She just never went back.
All right, so she's doing this to get back in touch with her spiritual side.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that sounds good.
Who does she have tension with?
It's got to be Doggy Doo.
Yeah.
I think she's suspicious of Doggy Doo. I think since Doggy Doo doesn't speak perfect English, it's very dog centric, rural raggy.
Yeah.
She misses half of Doggy Doo's words and thinks that she's talking in code or something like that, that there's something evil going on there or something.
Okay.
Bad vibes.
I think also maybe because if she grew up in a coven and stuff like that, I feel like maybe she doesn't fully buy the story of why Doggy Doo can talk. She's those pieces don't fit together.
You think somebody might have done some
maybe there's some dark magic? She's like, I don't think that doing those things would get you this result.
Yeah. That sounds interesting.
I want to say she's skeptical.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I could just see multiple instances of I'm on to you, right? Doggy Doo.
Yeah, so I think if we combine our two things, it kind of comes out to she is skeptical about whether this talking dog is a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. If you play Doggy Doo's voice backwards,
right? Maybe it's dark magic.
I know.
Okay,
so that's the team. It doesn't say to do that for Shaggy.
No, because I think we just assume that Shaggy is Shaggy.
Yeah, so Shaggy is literally Shaggy.
Yeah.
The award-winning musician. And that's it. That's the team.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm very curious. So we've got our team. Mm-hmm. We know the 5 people, one of them a dog that can talk. What sort of location, monster, and supporting cast do we have for the scenario we would be going into were we to play this game?
Yeah. So we have to roll a d6 to generate a location and a monster, and then come up with 4 supporting cast members. So this is basically we're creating an episode, right?
Yep. So I'll roll a d6 for the location. You want to roll a d6 for the monster?
Sure. What kind of d6 are you rolling? Tell us about your.
I've got my rainbow sharp-edged 6-sided die.
Okay.
With the gold foil inside of it.
All right. I think I'm going to use one of our character creation cast ones because those are the easiest d6s for me to get to right now. I'm going to use a teal one.
Nice. On theme.
Oh. Let's see if it rolls better than it did the other night. Although it doesn't matter in this because it's just a It's just a table, so it doesn't matter.
It's fine.
There's no bad rules. Okay, which one was I rolling for? Location or monster?
You're doing monster.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so our location is a rundown library.
Ooh, I like that. Okay.
I like it a lot.
Our monster is a fish monster.
Oh, amazing.
Okay, I gotta start a new page here.
Yeah.
All right. So we have generated a rundown library and a fish monster.
That says a lot, honestly. Feels like a library in a port town or something.
Okay.
Or a fishing town. If we want to go small town village feel.
Yeah, like a little oceanside.
Oh, or I was just to Sturgeon Bay recently.
Oh.
When we went kayaking. And Sturgeon Bay has a very old building feel to it, but also there's this gigantic bay that's huge for the town, right?
Yeah, because it's on Lake Michigan, right?
Yeah. It's between
Winnebago.
the Green Bay and Lake Michigan.
Okay.
So it's got a strait that goes between
Gotcha.
there, right? So either a Sturgeon Bay style city, that's
okay
between the Great Lakes or something like that. Midwestern.
Okay.
Sounds fun.
So Midwestern, but yeah, so a little touristy, but also a little small town kind of.
Yeah.
It's got that that Sturgeon Bay area kind of has that vibe. Wisconsin Dells
really
is
does.
Tourist trap.
Yeah. But this is purposely small town.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to say it's in a sort of small town, maybe touristy, but
yeah,
touristy for the locals,
Mm-hmm. It does feel like a gateway to a bigger touristy area.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's definitely a working place.
Yeah.
It's own tourism is not its only industry.
Exactly.
So it's a fishing town.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And the library just became run down and is getting threatened to be closed, I guess. Because all the funds keep going to the fisheries and to support the touristing trade, and no public funds are really going into the library anymore because of ebooks and NFTs or something.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not getting tax money for it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then our monster is a fish monster.
Fish monster. Very fitting, of course, right? We're on the bay.
Mm-hmm.
Or a Great Lake of some sort.
Right. Well, that is why you picked it to be on a bay or Great Lake. It's not fitting because it is on a Great Lake because of the fish monster. Okay. So our monster is a fish monster. What's up with fish monster?
Fish monster. I think it's
I mean, we don't, because we're not going to play the game. We don't know what his deal is or why. I would like to know kind of what sort of fish monster are we talking?
I want to say Creature from the Black Lagoon style, 1960s special effects fish monster.
Yeah, I love it.
If you get a close look at this thing, you 100% know it's a guy in a suit.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But from afar in the dark and the fog, this thing's terrifying.
All right. So Creature from the Black Lagoon with 60 to 70s movie quality.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we thinking bluish gray, green kind of?
Yeah, like a grayish green sort of skin tone.
All right.
To the suit.
Okay. I love it. We need some supporting characters now.
I've got a couple in mind.
Okay.
I don't know if you've got any in mind.
I don't yet. Let's kind of see where this goes.
Okay. So we've got a librarian makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Right? A librarian at the library that's
but we also do have a librarian.
Right.
So
that's why I think it would be interesting to have one as a supporting, because then they could talk the same language.
Gotcha.
With each other. But suspicious because of reasons we'll figure out, right?
Okay, so we have a librarian.
Yeah.
At the library. And we need name, look, vibe, and background for all these people.
Yeah.
All right.
For some reason, Stacy stood out as a name for this librarian.
Seems like a weird librarian.
Stacy Winters.
Interesting. I don't know about a librarian named Stacy. That doesn't feel.
Seems like a librarian-esque name.
Oh. I have like, so you are like just enough older than me to like be mostly the same generation, but you know what I mean, like just that little bit. And like Stacy, like I had like 4 people in my class named Stacy.
That makes sense, yeah.
So that feels like not, well, you know.
I'm thinking like a younger librarian though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, we can have Stacy Winters.
Stacy Winters, the young librarian, looks like a librarian, right? Has a similar look to Wilma. Maybe not as like powerful of a look, but like still small town vibes with that.
Okay.
I think she's got like an approachable vibe to her.
All right.
And she is fresh out of college for like being a librarian.
Library sciences.
Right? Library
you do
sciences.
have to have a master's to do that, by the way.
Yeah, so she's got a master's in library sciences, and she's freshly taking over. Like, this is a passion project. She came from this area.
Okay.
And she knew that this library growing up, and she's like, I'm going to make this library the best library in this area, and it's going to become part of the reason why people come here. Right? But, like, there's no funding.
Yeah.
At all.
But she, like, knew what a big job this was going to be. Like, what she was working against.
Exactly. So what's suspicious about them is got to be that, because like she's a little too passionate about like trying to save the library, right?
Okay.
And if this fish monster is threatening things around the library, I don't know. It's kind of suspicious.
Yeah. Especially because we don't know like what the deal is with the monster. Is like,
yeah,
you know, is the monster like there because people aren't using the library, and it's like,
yeah,
you know,
or is it like targeting the other tourist industries
to like get people to come to, like, that's the thing, is that like, is the monster mad because people aren't coming to the library and now it's going to haunt them, or is it haunting them to keep them away from the library so the money will continue to go somewhere else?
Yeah,
and
or is it haunting all the other industries to funnel people to the library as the only safe haven?
Right.
So there's a lot of possibilities that this game could go for sure.
Definitely.
So that was one of the
one of our supporting characters.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I'm trying to like match these lines where I'm putting things so they're all in the same like paragraph here. Obviously we have to have like the town mayor.
Okay.
Right. Yep. What is a good name for a mayor? I'm looking at literary names here, and honestly, I love the name Heathcliff. Heathcliff. It's a good mayor name.
Mayor Cliff.
Mayor. Well,
I like it.
Well, Heathcliff is a first name, but yeah, he goes by Cliff. Okay. He goes by Cliff for short.
So it's not Heath first name, Cliff last name.
No, Heathcliff. It's the character from Wuthering Heights. It's a good last name. So I feel like we want these to be just like generic, like boring American kind of, you know what I mean? Like Jones.
Jones was the first word that came to my mind.
Yeah, okay. Like I think Heathcliff Jones.
Cliff Jones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mayor Jones.
Heathcliff, a.k.a. Cliff.
Cliff Jones.
He is the mayor.
Mm-hmm. What is Cliff's look?
Yeah. Let's see here. I think he very much has like cool mayor vibes. Like not like cool, but he's like mayor because he knows the town, and he like he is a fisherman, you know, and so it's like he knows what this town needs and everything. So I think he dresses kind of in a pretty relaxed like working man sort of vibe, you know. It's like a lot of jeans and flannels because it's cold here probably.
Yeah.
That sounds he's a very everyman kind of.
Yeah.
He does have a beard. That's, I think, you know, he's got a beard.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. What is his vibe? I feel like he's like really no nonsense.
Yeah. No nonsense.
Straight to the point, kind of.
Yeah.
I think people trust him. And I think I think he really does kind of have the best interest of the town at heart. Like, he's just trying to, you know, because like sometimes it's like a dying industry too. Like, you know, fishing can be hard, and you know, he wants to keep the town alive, and I think he's been doing a good job of like balancing like sort of the touristy part and the working part. But I think that's like a constant struggle that he's having to be the mediator on, is like making sure that both of those sides get what they need and the town gets what it needs and everything like that. So yeah, I think he's a pretty no nonsense, down to earth, like I know what the situation is kind of guy.
Okay, that sounds good. We got most of his background with all of that too, so.
That's true. Yeah, so we know he's a former fisherman. He wants to keep the town going. Balance both sides. What is suspicious about him?
What is gosh. Is it that he's had some like really kind of out there ideas for getting tourism to like spike in popularity here? Like, it feels like the situation has become stagnant, and he wants it to get even more popular. So like that's kind of been one of his main goals.
Maybe. I was kind of thinking like, you know, because it's like I want to lean into things being like a little supernatural too, and like people being kind of suspicious for those reasons. And I was wondering if maybe it's something like he's like almost too good at balancing both sides of things. Like he always has the perfect solution, and it's always like exactly the perfect solution. And everybody's like, why? Like, like
almost like it was all orchestrated.
Right. Yeah. It's like you can't be that right every time.
Right. Okay. I like that a lot.
You know?
Yeah. That's why he's the mayor.
Right.
Right. He gets things done because he just knows how to do it. But for the 20th time in a row, for everything to be perfect.
Right.
Well.
And to just have like like you have exactly the amount of funding you need to do that, and you got all the right people to sign off on it, and you got that permit that would be really hard to get, that like, you know.
At the library.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know. There's something fishy about Cliff. Maybe he's got more information than he's letting on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fitting for a former fisherman.
Something fishy. That's what this episode is called.
Yep.
Okay. Another person.
Okay. I want a scuba diving instructor.
Oh, okay. I love it.
So this is somebody that has like their own little scuba diving touristy sort of activity, right?
Yeah.
You can sign up for scuba diving, and it's basically you go and you can do snorkeling, you can do scuba diving with this, and you go out and you just go into the bay and go down 100 feet and
they run fun ones for like just for like tourists that are like, oh, you want to see under the water, but then they do also run like certification classes and stuff too.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is like from beginners to advanced.
Got it. I love it. What do you want?
There's like some shipwrecks that you can go exploring.
Love it.
It sounds amazing.
We need a good name.
Oh.
So like, is he from around he or she, they, whoever, are they from around here?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I want to say that this is somebody from the coast that came here.
Okay.
Or like maybe even like former National Guard or something like that.
Okay. Okay, but they ain't from around here.
No.
Okay. Let's see here. I like well, I guess so like what gender do you have in mind here?
Or
what pronouns are you?
I was thinking masculine.
Okay. What about Rodney?
Rodney. Oh, that's okay. Rodney sounds like a good name. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. Rodney Chapman?
Chapman. I like it.
Okay. Cool. So this is our scuba instructor, Rodney Chapman.
Mm-hmm. Chapman's Day Dives.
Oh, okay. What does Rodney look like?
Gonna say he's in his 30s.
Okay.
Physically well built, right?
Mm-hmm.
Keeps up on the weights and all that sort of stuff, right? To stay in good shape. Gonna say like clean cut, sort of almost a military look to them.
Okay. All right.
For vibe, also very approachable.
Okay.
But like completely polite, always like well spoken, right?
Yeah.
Never saying more than they need to.
Okay. A little bit about like their background.
Yeah, so I think Rodney was in the National Guard and then retired from that in mid-20s or so in order to pursue his love of scuba diving.
Mm-hmm.
And then decided that the ocean was a little bit too much for him and putting other people in danger to go to the Great Lakes region in order to start a scuba diving school and like adventure getaway company, effectively. Teach people how to do it the right way so that they'll always know how to do it the right way.
Okay. What is suspicious about Rodney? Does it have something to do with the shipwrecks?
Oh, that could be, it could be interesting.
Like, were they things that like people had been searching for ages? Like they knew there were shipwrecks around here, and then Rodney comes and it's just like, yep, here they are.
Yeah,
and like can show people on the tours, but when people go without Rodney, they cannot find them.
Yeah.
So he's like the only one that can find the shipwrecks.
Right. I think that sounds just spooky enough.
Okay.
So we need one more supporting cast member.
Yeah. I think we need somebody who really is like really into fishing or really into modernizing. I mean, I feel like Rodney kind of leans toward the touristy angle, you know?
Yes.
So I feel like we need somebody who's like more traditional.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I gotta start a new page here. Okay.
Yeah, like a fishing boat captain.
Okay. Yeah.
Would be like that. That would feel like one of the pieces of a puzzle that would be in a Scooby-Doo episode.
Yeah.
All of these people have motive,
right,
to be
a fish monster.
The fish monster.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's see here.
It wasn't us meddling kids though.
No. So this is a category called Long Gone, which is like just names that are like nobody uses anymore.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, one of these is Velva.
Velva.
Which is like kind of like Velma, but not.
Yeah. I do like that.
Velva. Yeah, so I think Velva is a good one.
Yeah. For some reason, while I was thinking Weatherton for a last name.
Oh, yeah, that would be a good one.
Sounds like a good fisher captain's name.
Velva Weatherton.
Velva Weatherton.
So we have a fishing boat captain named Velva Weatherton.
Mm-hmm.
Her look is, I want to say that she is like, you know, in the full like heavy like jacket and like the like overall like the thick like Dickies overalls,
like old school like fisher captain,
big rubber boots, like
yep.
I think she's old. So she's got like gray white hair, always pulled back.
So
and yeah, I mean, just always like dressed to go out on a fishing boat.
Yeah, and she looks like she could just throw down with anybody and win. Yeah, you don't mess with Velva.
No. Yeah, I think that's her vibe. It's just like you don't mess with her. Like,
yeah, I like that a lot. She's the one that's like at the local tavern at the table by herself and like always like ominously looking over her beverage as she's starting to tell a story from the olden days.
I think she's also, though, like, if you've earned it, she will do anything for the people that, like, she cares about. Like, so, like, the people on her boat and stuff like that, she will do anything for them, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
So she'll do anything for her crew.
It sounds like she's been around for a while.
Yeah, definitely. So she's, been around, I think, like it's a generational thing. Like, she's, like, the third or fourth generation.
Yep.
It's hard to talk in right at the same time.
Her grandkids are even, like, starting to get into learning the trade from her.
Mm-hmm. She has, like, tons of really harrowing stories.
Mm-hmm.
For something suspicious about her,
mm-hmm.
I want to, like, lean into that. Well, first of all, her last name is Weatherton. And she knows the waters, right? But I think, like, she can predict weather, like, better than anybody should be able to, right? Like, it's not just like, oh, I've learned it for a long time, you know? Like, I know when the sky's this color, what's coming, and, you know, like, that kind of stuff. But she also has this absurd ability to predict where the fish are going to be. Yeah. Like, she'll go out to spots that, like, other people are like, you're not going to ever find anything there. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, she knows the waters too well.
Yeah, that's good. Amazing. So that's our location, our monster, and our cast, our supporting cast. Mm-hmm. This is where we would start playing the game, right?
I believe so.
The game is played through a series of scenes. You have team scenes and Shaggy and Doggy scenes. So sometimes Shaggy and Doggy, for whatever reason, go out on their own to have their own hijinks. Or you can have a team scene where everybody's together and you kind of figure out the vibe of that. So you start with six-sided dice, and it sounds like you have 6 scenes between the two of these things. Mm-hmm. And if you have a team scene, then you roll a d6 to see what sort of scene you're having. And then that die gets added to the mystery pool of dice. Mm. If you have a Shaggy and Doggy scene, you roll a d6 to figure out what sort of scene they have. And then you add that d6 to the chaos pool. Once you run out of dice to add to the pools, then you roll the pools and figure out the results. So like the chaos pool, mm-hmm. It's anywhere from a 1 to 36, depending on how many dice you have in there.
Yeah.
But like a lot of these is Shaggy performs one of his songs.
Yeah.
It Wasn't Me, Angel, Love Me, Dance and Shout are things in there.
Yeah. I like Doggy's awful nephew appears.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of chaos.
Shaggy incriminates himself in the mystery.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Wilma loses her glasses. So it's good that we put glasses on her.
I know, right? Exactly. And then there's the mystery pool, which is, it advances the episode tracker based on the results. So you could advance it between 1 and 6 spaces. When the episode tracker reaches 10, then it's time to wrap up the episode and you go to the reveal. Mm-hmm. So it sounds like you have to have a bunch of team scenes in order to progress the episode tracker. Mm-hmm. And if you want to stick around in the narrative a while, you have more Shaggy and Doggy scenes.
Okay, but we need to point out that when you get to those Shaggy performs songs, like, you have to remember that he doesn't have copyright for these songs right now. So one of the things that happens is, like, when that happens, a player has to karaoke along to the track whilst maintaining the terms of Shaggy's disputed licensing agreement.
Oh, no.
So basically, you have to be making up the words to these songs.
You have to change the lyrics as you go.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so good.
So before you play this game, you should probably, like, study up on at least the tunes of those songs, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I can only do, like, 2 of those in there. Like, I only know 2 of them off the top of my head. So Yeah, it does involve karaoke and
it's so good.
incredible.
And then when it hits 10, the reveal happens. A member of the supporting cast is named as the monster. And then you have a scene where you use all the pieces of evidence from the episode to accuse and unmask them. And once your accusation's complete, you have a scene where they confess and blame their failure on the actions of the team.
True.
Yeah. And then when the final scene is resolved, put on Shaggy's album Hot Shot and get ready for a party as the credits roll. So
it's it's a game that like I would really love to play at some point. Also a game that looking through it very specifically and everything, you could play online with friends.
Yeah.
So that is kind of nice too if people are looking for something silly to play online. This is a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Should we just run through everything all together here? Just like to sum it up, wrap it up.
What do we got? What do we got for a summary here?
Okay. We have a cast of characters, the team. Doggy Doo is a sheepadoodle, black and white, that looks like a Muppet. Doggy Doo ate a bunch of stuff and then got, air quotes, too much love and now can talk. There's some tension. She has some tension with Wilma because Doggy Doo likes to gossip and Wilma does not want something to get out. We don't know what.
Yeah, we don't know
what or how important it is. There's Greg. Greg is our sort of, how do they describe him here? So Greg is an arrogant guy who calls himself the leader. Greg is an NFT bro. He wears a flannel and jeans to try and look cool and casual, but they are the most expensive flannel and the most expensive jeans on the market. Probably very expensive plain white sneakers as well. But always very white.
Yes.
Greg is an early adopter of Bitcoin and now funds the Curiosity Camper because he feels like he already conquered the physical and technological worlds. So now he's ready to move on to conquering the supernatural as well.
Yeah. He gets so fed up when it's not supernatural in the end.
Yes, absolutely. He does have some tension with Phoebe because he is not in it, she feels, for the right reasons. Phoebe thinks that he should be in it because he's curious and interested, not because he's trying to, like, conquer the supernatural. Yeah. Wilma is a librarian, kind of. Wears lots of tweed glasses. She's a skeptic who wants to uncover the actual truth of the supernatural world because she does not think it's real.
Yes.
She has some conflict with Greg because he thinks that he's really smart and will just like say things and then other people listen to him because he seems like he knows what he's talking about.
He says it with conviction.
Wilma, however, having been socialized as a woman, does not say things with conviction like that because you can't be aggressive. However, Wilma has 4 PhDs and a Nobel Prize. So she does know what she's talking about. And Greg just has some Bitcoin. So, they don't get along. Then there's Phoebe, who is just Phoebe from Friends.
Literal Phoebe from Friends,
Phoebe from Friends. Has a really hippie vibe, plays the guitar. Just a few fries short of a Happy Meal. She grew up in a coven, but then her twins showed up and it kind of causes a rift between her and her friend group. And so she is on this journey to get back in touch with her spiritual side. She strongly believes in the supernatural. However,
this is the alternate universe of the Friends universe.
However, Phoebe does have some tension with Doggy Doo because she can't fully understand what Doggy Doo is saying all the time. And also because she's really skeptical of the talking dog thing. She grew up knowing some witchcraft and doesn't think that Doggy Doo's story adds up. And is just not entirely sure that the talking is a good thing. Yeah. We are headed to a rundown library. It's in a sort of touristy small fishing town, and they're threatening to close the library due to lack of funding. There is a fish monster. It looks like Creature from the Black Lagoon out of a like 60s or 70s movie. Grayish green colors. Our supporting cast is a librarian, Stacy Winters, who is young, very similar to Wilma. She's approachable. She's from this town, has a master's in library science, knew that this would be a big job passion project, took it on anyway. However, is she maybe too passionate about this project? We have our mayor, Heathcliff, aka Cliff Jones. He's an everyman, jeans, flannels, working guy with a beard. Very no-nonsense, down to earth. As a former fisherman, and he really wants to keep the town going, and he works hard to balance both the tourist and fishing sides of things. However, his solutions are always perfect. Always, every time, without fail, even when they shouldn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Rodney Chapman is a scuba instructor. He's in his mid-30s, physically pretty well-built, clean-cut, kind of military look. He's very approachable, always well-spoken, but never says more than necessary. He's a former National Guardsman, wanted to start a scuba school, but decided that the ocean was just too much, so he decided to do it here in the Great Lakes. So he does scuba diving certifications and then also tours of a shipwreck in the Great Lakes. However, Rodney is the only person who can find this shipwreck. There's also a fishing boat captain named Velva Weatherton. She's old, always dressed for fishing in like the rubber boots and the Dickies overalls, like work clothing ready to go. You do not mess with her, but she will do anything for her crew. She's been around. She's like the third or fourth generation of her family to do this. She's also teaching her kids and grandkids. She has tons of stories, but she knows the waters better than anyone. She knows what the weather's going to be. She knows where the fish are without fail every time. Almost too well.
Yeah.
And now we have to figure out, why is this fish man haunting a library?
Yeah. That's amazing.
I love them. I hate Greg. I hate Greg.
We'd love to hate him, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's Greg's whole point for existing.
That's the whole point of Greg.
Gosh, what a good group of shenanigan-inducing individuals.
Yes. I really want to know who did it.
Yeah, it literally could be any one of them.
It could be.
I'm here. I would be so here for this story.
And I'd love to know what Shaggy and Grammy Award winner Shaggy and Doggy do get up to.
Absolutely.
And that is, it wasn't us meddling kids.
Absolutely. So this is going to be we're going to do 2 games per episode. So we have a bit of a shorter game for game number 2.
Yes.
So this is Object Kilo.
What's in a game?
This one was published in 2020 in James D'Amato's The Ultimate Micro RPG book, which James had edited. And this is a game by Jason Morningstar, who has done quite a few other games in the industry. This is a game for 2 to 6 players. It takes about an hour or 2 to play. Not very complex. You're going to need a pencil and an index card per player, and an optional 1d6. So not too much to actually play the game. And the goal is to survive the stress and annoyances of your job as a top research scientist.
Yes. A top research scientist dealing with like super mega top secret Object Kilo.
Yes.
I will read this little blurb here. Object Kilo is a 13.3 centimeter dull gray cube made of an impossibly stable form of the primordial super heavy element unbihexium. Someone told you once that it had been returned from the moon in 1971. Scientists like you have been prodding and poking Object Kilo for 50 years, and what they have learned fits onto a single page. You will not do any better. This game isn't about Object Kilo.
Yep. So it's a dark comedy, stress, magical realism are a lot of the contents. But it is a funny tone overall to this game. So it does have that like backdrop of like super mystery weirdness, Area 51 sort of feel to it, right?
Yes.
But like it's not about that.
Right.
It's about like your home life and work life balance?
Pretty much, yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. You are a scientist married with a small family in Las Vegas. You work at the U1A underground complex in Area 12 of the Nevada National Security Site.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Okay, so let's see here. You spend 4 days each week living in a dorm in the desert and are flown home to Las Vegas every weekend. You have security clearance so high in Byzantine that nobody quite understands it. And it's because you're on the Object Kilo team. So that's pretty much the setup. We are scientists. Mm-hmm. So that's like the character setup there. But there's some interesting stuff that we do to set things up here in the game, which is why we picked this, right?
Yes.
Let's make some people.
Yeah, so normally, like it says 2 to 6 players. In that case, usually one player would be running things.
Yep.
That's not what we're going to do because that would be silly. It does say only read the following section if you are playing as everyone else, which I figured we would play as everyone else for each other, maybe.
Exactly.
So if you're playing as everyone else, right, because you've got your scientist and then you have everyone else.
Yep.
If you're playing as everyone else, your job is to introduce stress and annoyance into the lives of the scientists.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be played by a single person or a small evil group.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you just introduce annoyances and stuff like that. The core of the game is you basically have a stress track. And then these people, your everyone else introduces things and you kind of play out scenes that are likely to cause stress. And then scientists check a box every time their job causes stress. When all 4 boxes are full, the scientist just can't take it anymore and quits their job in any way that they would like. When a scientist quits, you ask the player to write 4 new checkboxes on their index card and initiate a scene with them back on the job in which they are informed that there are far worse places to work and the contract they signed is more than binding. Never explain how they ended up back at work. Repeat until it isn't fun anymore. Or until someone definitively breaks the cycle.
Yeah.
There's no rule for the breaking the cycle provided here. Your group is encouraged to find a way on your own. So basically, you work until you can't work anymore, and then you wake up back at work.
Yep.
Gosh. And then you are trying to balance the things that are going wrong at work and the things that are going wrong at home because you are at work for 4 days a week and at home the other days. So it's, do you want to make a truly toxic workplace with me, Ryan?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right. So.
Okay. So it starts off before we even get a name or anything like that, right? We have to figure out what is our character's problem at home.
Yes.
And for this, we roll a 6-sided die.
Yes.
Or we could choose.
Yeah. We roll. Let's not kid ourselves here.
Exactly.
We roll. I got a 6.
I got a 2.
Okay. So my problem at home, your family is busy dividing your recently deceased parents' assets.
Oh.
Oh boy.
And for mine is your eldest child is acting out and getting into trouble.
Ooh. All right. So I've got to write this down here.
Okay. So this problem requires all of your time and attention, but your job makes that impossible. The problem festers and gets worse while you stew in the desert, failing to understand an alien cube. By the time you fly home every Friday, it is a full-blown crisis yet again.
Oh, boy.
Sad.
Yeah. You've also been making bad choices at work. Roll a die or choose.
All right. We got another D6 here. I got a 1.
I got a 6 again.
Oh.
Keep that die.
No, you don't.
What?
Your result?
Yours, sir.
Hey, it's fine.
So Ryan has been faking data for years.
Yeah, but that's not as bad as you occasionally taking Object Kilo home with you.
This bad choice will eventually ruin your career. Write down your name, your problem, and your bad choice on an index card.
Good Lord.
Add 4 checkboxes to the index card beneath them. Okay, so I have to write down, I take the cube home occasionally.
As a treat.
Well, they're clearly not giving me time off to deal with my dead parents.
Seriously. Could be doing anything with that cube.
All right, and then 4 checkboxes. And a name. It's a good name for a Area 10 scientist. Area 12, sorry. One of the things is that you sneak over to Area
10. Yeah.
Let's see.
All right. So my scientist's name is Jordan Jefferson. His friends call him JJ.
Oh, okay.
Dr. Jefferson.
You know what? My character's name is Eudora Valentine.
Eudora Valentine.
Yep.
Amazing.
Yep. All right. I think she goes by Dora. Because that one syllable makes a difference, you know?
Yeah.
All right.
Dora Valentine sounds like a good action hero.
It does. Name too. Yeah. That does sound awesome. Okay, so the everyone else is supposed to be just like making problems, right? There are lists of stresses and annoyances. They are broken down into 6 categories. And so we can just roll a d6.
Yeah, I think so.
And like talk about how it would go.
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't need to actually roleplay. We can fanfic with the best of them.
Right. Okay.
All right. You want me to go for the first one?
Sure. You want me to roll your annoyance?
Sure.
Okay. What is annoying you today? I feel like I need a different die because I'm just tired of it's all just 6s. And as awesome as that is sometimes. I want to make sure I'm doing this right. Okay. So it looks like most of the goal is to bring the stress of your home life into your work life too. So, okay. Just being clear on what we're doing and where we're playing. Yes. You're at work. Work is bothering you. Home is also bothering you.
Yep.
Okay. Here we go. So you've got some issues happening at work. You've been looking at this cube, staring at it, not getting much out of it. There are, there's vague oversight on what you're doing, right? But you haven't really been bothered by, any higher ups recently.
Yeah.
Until today, when you got a notice that in 2 hours you have a performance review.
Oh, no.
And you've been faking your data.
Oh, no. That's right. Gosh. So this is pulling the curtain back a little bit. This is the bureaucracy.
Yes.
Intrusive performance review, trouble and annoyance, stress and annoyance.
Yeah. So
okay.
So you've got the performance review. You know it's in about 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
You've been faking your data.
Yep.
But you're also really busy on the phone with your spouse because they're trying to set up parent-teacher conference to find out what's going on with your kid.
Absolutely.
And they want you to meet in 2 hours.
So I think he's taking data from other scientists and kind of passing it off as his own a bit. Like stuff that hasn't been published yet.
So you're not just faking data, you're stealing other people's work.
For this performance review specifically.
Okay.
This is something that he hasn't done before. Feels like he's trapped because he knows if he presents his stuff, it's not going to hold scrutiny to a microscope, which these performance reviews are brutal at times, right? And he can't lose his career. I mean, he's the one that's supporting the family and all that sort of stuff. If he loses his job, they're stuck living in Vegas with no way to pay for anything. And then how is he going to get a job as a scientist elsewhere if he loses it for faking the data? So he's feeling a little trapped. And so as he's on the phone dealing with this, kind of sloppily puts together a portfolio, right? Of stuff that the team has kind of been starting to figure out, but he's fudging the data to make it look like it was his, discoveries and whatnot. to make himself look better than he really is.
So you get into the performance review.
Yeah.
And the reviewer is looking at it and is like, interesting. Jerry was doing a very similar experiment and got almost the exact same results. And by almost exactly the same, I mean exactly the same. He just told them to me an hour ago.
Yeah, we're a tight-knit crew. So there's a lot of spillover.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's what happens when you have a team. You hire a team.
Right.
That's what we're here for.
Right. Yeah. You and Jerry aren't here on any of the same days at all.
Right. I mean, we run similar experiments. We're trying to figure out the same things across the board. It's just what we do, right?
Similar experiments. Very similar experiments.
It's why you hired us, right? Because great minds think alike, you know.
I would like to see by next week some new data that is not exactly the same as Jerry's.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because you have not put each other's names on the reports. So you should not be giving me the exact same data.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, I will do what I can. It is not a problem. And like behind his eyes in his brain, he's just like, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap.
Yeah. Check one of your boxes.
Uh-huh. Whoops.
Oops.
All right. So that's stressor number one.
Yeah.
The abridged version of office politics.
Right. Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna use 2d6 so I can get a category and a trouble.
Oh, okay.
In one go, because there's six suggested stressors in each of the categories.
Yeah. I just picked one that sounded interesting.
Right, exactly. So, okay. So let's see. This one's not as exciting, but so you've been going down a very like promising approach recently.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked like everything was going to reveal something super interesting.
Yeah.
But you just hit another dead end.
Mm-hmm.
This is like, you know, this was probably your most promising potential discovery to date, but it turned out to be absolutely nothing.
Ugh. Again.
Yeah.
So I've been like absolutely like burying myself in this for days and weeks and everything on end. And it's been a combination of an escape from what's going on with my family to be like, I got to go to work and I got to just bury myself. And then also having to deal with that. So taking the cube home and like trying to deal with that and like just being like, okay, I've got something, like really excited. Finally, it's like one thing is going right in my life. It's going to be great. And then like I thought I was going to crack like what this element, like what it reacts to. Because up till now, it's like hot, cold, you know, air, no air, water, no water. Like it just doesn't do, like nothing does, like it doesn't, it's not magnetic. It's not, you know, like conductive. It's not like, it just doesn't do anything. It's a block of nothing. And so like I finally was like, I think I can get it to react with something. And started to, and was like, oh my gosh, I can see it. I can see it like changing color. And it turned out that it just had gotten some food on it when I had it at home. And like, you know, like now there's food on it, but I can't get the food off. Like,
oh no.
Like I can't, it like it won't come off because it doesn't react with anything. Like, but then it's like, well, maybe the fact that it got food on it is a good discovery, but like, then if I tell anybody, they'll know that I had food around it, like, which I can't do. And then, like, but like nothing's ever stuck to it before. So this could be something. So like maybe they'll forgive me for the fact that I took it home and got food on it. But maybe they don't need to know that I took it home and that's how I got food on it. But maybe in here it's under high security. So like they would know if somebody moved it. But then they must have already known I moved it because I took it home. But then like this could define my career and I could actually like maybe do something and I could not have to stare at this cube anymore if we find out what it is. But then they'll find out that I took it somewhere else because maybe it was the environment changing that did it. And if it's just like this
so much
spiral of
but
like, is it something? Is it nothing? Can I tell them? I can't tell them. Just like around and around and around and around and around.
And how does it make you feel that it was a dead end and you put so much effort into this and your issues dealing with your deceased parents' assets fell to the wayside for a bit.
Right. For something that turned out to be absolutely nothing. And it's just like, everything is nothing. Like everything is just like a waste of time. Like, why am I staring at this cube? Why am I doing this job? Because now I'm not spending time with my family and they're gonna die and I don't even get time with them to not even make a discovery. And like, just like, I swear to God, I hate this job. I hate everything. I hate everyone. Like, you know, like the family's also arguing over who gets the money for things. And like,
of course,
it's just like,
it's just a mess.
It's everything is something and nothing and everything and nothing. Like, it's just.
Yeah, it sounds like you get to
sounds like a little bit of stress, maybe. So I think.
So every time your job causes stress, you get to check a box.
Right.
So that sounds stressful to me.
Yeah. Let's, Ryan, find out what's going on with you.
Yeah.
You decided after last time that you need to actually run an experiment then. Like you can't, you know, like maybe you can fake the data on the experiment or something, but like you need to actually like prove that you're running an experiment now because your boss does not think that you are.
Right.
But it goes haywire. What happened?
I think because I've been so lax, like basically coasting through this job and not really doing my job, right? I haven't gotten the full, like, I never paid attention during like the safety videos for the equipment and stuff.
Oh no.
So
because you've never really been doing an experiment.
Exactly. I've been pretending to do experiments this whole time and just fudging the data like this sounds
since then. That like,
yeah, absolutely.
You're like, oh yeah, I totally know how to use that, but you haven't ever actually used it because you haven't been doing anything.
Yeah, and they gave us the full rundown of how to use it and safety and stuff like that, but he's like, I'm never going to do that because like, I'm just going to coast through this job. It's fine, right? I wonder why his eldest child has behavioral issues.
Right. Yeah.
Good Lord. So he tries to use this like let's say it's like some sort of spectrometer or something that involves like a bit of radiation.
Yeah.
And like he broke it to a point where there was a minor radiation leak, and forced the facility to evacuate for a little bit while it was locked down and fixed. And everybody knows it was him. Everybody knows it was his mistake, and now he's walking on eggshells between all of his coworkers.
Yeah, because
like he's the one that screwed up multiple experiments for that day. Because of his ineptitude.
Yeah, and it's like a hugely expensive piece of equipment, and you know, and now they're going to make everybody redo the safety training.
Yeah. Oh, that's yeah. You got to go through those videos again.
Oh,
gosh,
the worst.
Worst. Yeah, I think that's stressful.
Yeah.
Good Lord, JJ, what are you doing?
Because now they also might realize that he doesn't know what he's doing. Too.
He passes it off as, was used to the old machine. I accidentally did something the wrong way. It was a slip of the mind because of my kid at home.
Okay.
You won't believe what I had to deal
But
with.
here's the question. Has he already, as he tells this lie that it's like, oh, because I'm used to the old machine, has he already turned in data that supposedly would have used this machine?
I don't think he's turned it in yet.
Oh, okay.
But like he's got it, and I think he's going to turn it in.
Okay.
Forgetting that he did that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Great. Love it.
Yep. Because we all know this leads to their downfall at work.
Totally.
Amazing. All right. So for Dora, we've got
Oh boy.
Someone mishandled Object Kilo.
Oh.
And now it's the big to do. Now it's the big, there's the stain on Object Kilo that was never there before, mysteriously appeared one day. And now it is like, what happened? Who mishandled this? Who, like, there's going to be an investigation. There's going to be like, people are going to be looking and scrutinizing security footage and data and all of the network activity, everything, to get down to who's been mishandling this object.
Well, I mean, how do we know that it's been mishandled? We don't know anything about this object, really. So, I mean, this could have been a spontaneous situation.
Can't take any risks, they say.
Well,
we gotta examine everything.
I mean, I think it would be more worth examining the object to find out what's going on. Like, why are we wasting our time examining the people? It's, clear.
Yeah, they've still sanctioned experiments and examinations, and they've actually put extra funding towards figuring out why this was stained, what it was stained by, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, the science is still pushing forward and faster than normal, but looming behind that is they have to pour through months of video footage, audio footage, computer data.
Yeah.
And they're going to find something.
Yeah, so now she has to find a way to, like, try to figure out what they might have on her without, like, triggering them to know that they have something on her. So it's like, she's like, you can't just delete all of the security footage because then they'll know somebody deleted it and something's up. But also, on the other hand, they won't know it was her that something was up with. It'll be on everybody. But
then if you do that, you might be deleting some valuable potential data that is there when nobody's around.
Yeah. So then do we point the finger at somebody else? Be like, clearly somebody was doing something, like I saw Jennifer eating lunch really close to the cube the other day. Like, and we all know that, like, she's a pretty messy eater and it's kind of problematic. But also, like, what if they find out I was
you do know though that you don't know if it's your paranoia about this or if you're just onto something, but you have seen upper management kind of side-eye you in the hallway and while they're talking to each other, like and kind of steering themselves away from you. Kind of feels like they're talking secretly about you specifically.
Well, so obviously the best answer then is going to be to come up with some kind of data or something that, like, wows them so much that they can't be mad, right? So I know what's on the cube because I'm the one that got the thing on the cube. So I need to figure out why this substance didn't just, like, slide right off like everything else. Like, why did cheesy mashed potatoes stick to the cube when nothing else has? So, like, she's gonna, like, put her head down and, like, try to really, like, come up with something that's like, this is why mashed potatoes, but then, like, the whole time she's, like, super paranoid to look into anything too much because then what if they find out it is mashed potatoes and then they link the mashed potatoes back to her and that
Gosh.
Right? So she's like trying to make data when they haven't been able to get any data on this thing for 50 years. Right? So like, that's impossible, but the whole time being like, okay, but I can't really run tests because then they'll know that I know what I'm testing for. And they'll be like, how did you come to that? And so, like,
I taste it.
It's extremely stressful because she's like, the only way to win is that I have to make data, but we've spent 50 years not getting any data. And like,
welcome to JJ's
right. World. JJ would just make something up. Oh, JJ. What would JJ do? Up to? JJ is having some issues because on top of faking his data and just like making stuff up to sound better, JJ's also been faking it on his taxes.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, tax fraud on top of it?
Yeah. I don't know if it's a tax fraud, tax evasion. I don't know what.
I think it's just tax incompetence.
Tax incompetence. Yeah, that sounds right. Sure.
It's just like, it's close enough. It's fine. He hasn't disclosed multiple things, multiple like, side sources of income and whatnot on his taxes because he figures that it's not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. So,
well, and then the government would know about those things if you put it on your taxes. Exactly. And that might affect your job.
Yep, exactly. And maybe he's expensing too much.
Oh, okay.
I think that might be the big problem. Like the small time little things here and there, like, it adds up to over $600 a year and should be claimed. And that's just a simple like adjustment, right?
Yeah.
But like he's purposely expensing things he shouldn't be expensing. School supplies, and like lunches and stuff like that with the family on the weekends and all sorts of stuff that he shouldn't be expensing.
Yeah. JJ's all about cutting corners.
It's true. Because he doesn't want to pay taxes. He just wants to get his as big a return as he can because he's got to support this family. Right. And like, so he's like, well, if I put more expenses on there, then the amount I get back increases.
Right.
So I might as well put more expenses on there.
Because that's totally
I work for the government. I've got plenty of expenses.
Yeah, that's definitely
who's gonna
how it all works.
Miss exactly. Who's gonna miss a few lunches and a few
right.
School supplies.
Yeah. Yeah. But now they're on to you.
Now they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess
so like your security clearance is going to start to come into question here.
That's true. Yeah. At this point for sure. And I think he's like, playing like he didn't know better.
Yeah.
Like I thought that's just what you did because we work for the government. That's just what you do, right? And like, so now he has to go through this like intensive training and like, this is what you're supposed to be doing. He has no time for this, right?
Right. Well, they're having you sit down with like an in-house auditor to go through it too. So you're like spending your days with this auditor being like, was this one legit or no? And you're like, that was 8 months ago. I don't know if that was, I don't know what that one was for. It just says Office Max.
Through the auditing
I don't know
process.
if that was school supplies. I don't know if that was pencils. I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So he's got like the stress of going through a full audit on top of dealing with his kid, like acting out at school and acting out in life. Gosh. Yeah.
And they're on to you for faking data. So
yeah,
it's going great. It's going great for JJ.
It's going great for JJ.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what we got for Dora here. Oh, why is it so? Okay. So this is dealing with your home life.
Okay.
And it's official inquiries into your home life.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Do you want to define that?
I think this is after the whole surveillance like camera
situation. Yeah, this
situation.
is after taking the cube home. Yeah.
After taking the cube home and So now they're like asking you very pointed questions about your home life at like a level that they don't ask people.
Oh.
Like they're getting really like specific into like what sort of diet do you have? Like what sort of routine do you have
who
on
does
the
the grocery
weekends?
shopping at your house? What?
Yep. What store do you go to? Like all these things that like they know.
Right. Yeah. Like when
At
you
this point,
buy
but nobody's saying
potatoes to
anything.
make mashed potatoes, what kind of potato do you generally buy?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like where do you live? Where's your landfill? Like when does your trash get picked up? So like all this stuff is like
oh no,
on the table of these questions.
Yeah.
They're like really getting into your personal life.
Yeah. Yeah. And so like, Dora's first reaction is like, well, okay, they know something, but they clearly don't know everything because they're asking questions still. So she decides to call her wife and be like, do not buy this brand of potatoes anymore. Shop at a different grocery store. Like, change it up. Like, just, which of course makes her wife extremely suspicious. She's like, why are you telling me to do this? Like, I don't want to do that. Like, and she's like, no, I just need you to understand that we are a Yukon Gold family now. That is like we don't, like we only use Colby Jack. We do not use cheddar. We do not.
I like how Dora thinks that would be less suspicious.
But she calls him on her personal cell phone, like.
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, block number kind of situation.
Yeah.
She actually has a burner phone.
The burner emergency phone.
Yeah, to call her wife and tell her to like, do not buy those potatoes anymore. Like, you only buy Yukon Gold now. And her wife is like, those are like way more expensive than the russet potatoes that I was using. Like, we can't afford to do Yukon Gold every time. And she's like, then we eat less potatoes. I don't care. Like, it's like, but then because of this, now her wife is like, what is going on? And she's like, I can't tell you. Can't, and her wife is now mad because she's like clearly something's up. What are you not telling me? Why does mashed potatoes matter? Like, I have to go clean out your parents' house this weekend. And you said you would be there, and now you're saying you're not going to be there, and I have to buy different potato. Like, what is going on?
Oh, no.
Like, so like her home life is just, it's getting tense too, because now she's like, got to watch her back at home and be like, we need to use a different brand of trash bags than we've been using when we throw stuff away. We have to like, which is just like freaking her wife out. Like, we can't, like, what is wrong with you? Like, are you ill? Are you in trouble? Are you, but like now everything she does, she's like, I have to, it's like, well, I normally would have turned left. Now I have to turn right. And then if I turn right here, then I don't know, but I would normally turn left after turning left. So I do turn right after turning right, or do I do turn right and then left? And like, she's just like deep in
the level of paranoia.
Yeah. It's bad. It's bad. And now it's like gonna, because as if things aren't bad, that like her family's trying to like deal with all this stuff with their deceased parents. She's not there. She's making her wife do it instead. Who like, maybe didn't even like her parents. I don't know. I don't know how her wife was with the in-laws. I'm not sure. But it's getting really bad. She's like, it's
amazing.
But to the point where she's like, we gotta buy different potatoes.
Awesome. Check that box.
I did. Yeah, it all comes down to the potatoes. It's very serious.
Amazing.
Potato situation.
I really want some cheesy hash browns right now.
Like I've got potatoes on the brain. So, you've broken everything. You're sitting through your audit. And then when you get back to your desk, you're like, okay, I finally, like, it's quiet. I'm going to sit and I'm going to do some work, right? Because now people are done questioning you about your taxes and everything. And you sit down and there's now a new coworker in your cubicle.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
In my cubicle.
Yeah. Her name is Jessica.
Okay.
And she is so friendly.
Uh-oh.
So friendly.
So I think, Gigi's like, what are they doing? Are they like sending somebody to get information on me? Are they like replacing me? Like, I didn't get any notice at all. I mean, they could have given me notice in any one of these meetings. It would have been really easy for them to say, hey, this isn't working out. Goodbye. Hand in your badge and security clearance and forget you ever worked here. Right? Like, but like, this feels weird. Like, I think he's really on edge and paranoid.
Mm-hmm.
And like, whether or not she's a plant.
Yeah.
Like, she's just like acting super awkward and like,
he's like covering his screen
over.
And like, I'm just gonna work over here.
Like,
but in the meantime,
exactly.
She's like, so like, tell me about yourself. I'm really excited to work here. It's my first day, but I can't wait. I know that we're gonna do awesome things. I can't wait to see how much we discover. It's gonna be great. Like I know that you guys have been making all kinds of discoveries here, and it's gonna be great.
Yeah, I think he's like, for the first time, trying to do actual science. And it's stressing him out so bad. And like, so he's like constantly paranoid, like, what is she here for? And he is making, mistake after mistake after mistake.
And she just keeps talking. She just keeps talking. She's like telling you about the town she grew up in and her family dog. And like, she just keeps going.
Yeah. Gosh. I think like mid-conversation, JJ gets up and turns off the computer and just walks home.
All the way to Vegas?
just walks out and is like, hands in his badge at the front desk. And he's just like, I can't.
That's enough.
That's it. I can't. And he quits.
Wow. Wow. All because he had to have a cube mate. She wasn't up to anything. She just was there and wanted to be friendly.
I know. But, that was just too much for JJ.
Too much. Where does JJ draw the line? Someone might find out that I've been wrong this whole time.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Oh, Lord. What a bad scientist, JJ.
JJ's terrible.
All right, Dora over here doing actual science.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what you got. Okay, so you live in the dorms 4 days out of the week, right? Yeah. Here in the secret facility.
Mm-hmm.
And you like to unwind after a day of like doing actual real science. You have to deal with all the incompetencies of some of your coworkers every now and then. And those are annoying. You have this investigation, sure, but you're still able to go back and watch some of your favorite shows on TV, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they changed the cable TV package today. And your shows that you want to go back and watch, season finale of one of them was supposed to air tonight. It's not there anymore. We don't get that channel anymore.
And what channel do we get it in its place? Food Network.
Yeah.
And
they've
are
got all the
showing
safe
a
channels.
Today for the exact cheesy potatoes.
Yes.
That Dora made. And what if somebody sees that? But it's like a really, really old episode that it was like, it was a family recipe. And as she's watching this episode, her wife calls and is like, hey, we found your mom's recipe box. And I think it has the recipe for those really great cheesy potatoes you made. And, it's like this clipping from this Food Network magazine. And she's just like, no, like, you called me on my work phone. You called me in my dormitory. It's on TV. And she's just like, this is a sign. Like, this is a sign. Like, this is a sign. Everyone's going to know. Like, my wife just called me. Like, I told you different potatoes. I told you, like, I don't, like.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's messing with me at this point. Because, like, this new cable package is only food TV channels. It's only cooking channels.
No.
Like,
because it's the safest thing, right? It's not going to be controversial.
Right. There's nothing controversial. There's nothing that's going to, like, upset anybody or, Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice chill Food Network stuff.
And as it's going, like, she's just getting, like, more and more, like, and, like, the people in the dorms around her are like, what is wrong with you? Like, what is, like, you're hyperventilating at potatoes. What is wrong with you? And she's just like, fine, it was me. And then just, like, slams her badge down and, like, leaves. And just leaves.
To this day, nobody knows what "it was me" signifies.
Right. Yeah. She goes home, falls asleep in her bed at home. It's glorious. And then she wakes up in the dormitories to that same episode of Food Network playing again.
Oh, no. And that's Object Kilo.
It starts again. Oh, my God.
What a game.
What a game. It would be so much fun with, like, a bunch of people. Just
100%,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, like a couple scientists all in the same office. Like, you know, a couple people coming up with scenarios and playing the other people. Like,
yeah.
Oh, God. It's so stressful. It's so stressful. Like, we made it so stressful for ourselves. Like...
Yeah, and that's kind of why I think this game fits for the season, because it's like, you know, horror is all about, like, dread and, you know, fear.
Like, you can definitely do a lot of creeping anxiety with this one. It's not, like, straight up horror, but, like, you can get that sense of tension.
You get a lot of those same feels.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because you could definitely play it very silly. But you can also definitely play it very seriously, where it's like, no, you need to...
I think even, like, tone intended to be funny, right? Like, even playing it funny.
Yeah.
We found the situations like, this is absurd.
Yeah.
But, like, we know that these characters are going through such anxiety and paranoia.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a dark comedy.
Like, yeah, it's all the undertones of horror in a comedy format.
Right.
Which is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is Object Kilo.
Object Kilo, definitely a different game than Not Us Meddling Kids.
Yes.
But we thought that this would be a fantastic way to start the series this month. We've got spooky games galore to choose from. So it'll be really interesting to see kind of what comes up next episode.
You wait and see, because we don't know yet either.
I know. So thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yeah.
I know.
Yes, we'll be back next week with more spooky things.
Call to action.
Yeah, like that. So we started doing some micro games.
We did.
We have a great track record with microgames, going perfectly well and playing them exactly according to the rules. We're really good at it.
I think we're really good at it.
I think we're great at it, honestly.
I think we are.
I think people should pay us to start playing their tiny games. Probably.
Yeah. No, it was a lot of fun. We had some scheduling hiccups and real life getting in the way, and we said, hey, we know games.
Yeah.
And we've got micro games. Yeah. Why not micro games?
We have micro games and microphones. Nothing can stop us. Micro
games, but spooky is what we said.
Yeah.
So we did. And Amelia had the like genius idea of starting off lighthearted spooky and working her way more and more spooky throughout this month. So really, this episode kicked off a lot of fun that you can have in the spooky sort of area of micro games. Two completely different tones to the games.
Yeah, one is definitely like the sort of like paranormal kind of thing. It's the paranormal kind of quote spooky. The other one is more like an unsettling sense of dread that has nothing to do with paranormal anything, really.
It really, both of them can have that horror feel. I mean, they both have a funny undertone, right? One's just like straight up Scooby-Doo comedy. The other is like existential dread mixed in with like dark
ridiculous
humor.
Workplace situations.
Absolutely, like ridiculous office politics and like some of the worst things that you'll hate about working for a corporation.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like that one I wouldn't even really categorize as spooky so much as just uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable, like real life horror.
Yeah. It's dark, but it's not spooky, really.
Say the like office horror at that point.
That's right. Capitalism horror. I don't know. Like
life
horror.
That sounds redundant, honestly.
Oh, I know. You're right. I said the same word twice. That was ridiculous. Sorry about that.
But yeah, I know I had a lot of fun. I'm really looking for, we got a bunch of other games on our list. We had to narrow it down to just 6 for this series because we wanted to do 2 per episode again. And I think the list that we have is pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
It's giving me ideas for what to do next year for Spooky Month. So I'm looking forward to kind of seeing if we can get there.
Yeah. But stay tuned to see what games are next.
I know.
We don't even know. At the time of recording, we haven't picked which ones we're going to do yet.
Yeah. Peeling back the curtain, we recorded this one right before the cold open, and we are really excited to see what the next ones kind of entail. So if you enjoyed this, come back next month or next week for
next month
something
too, but especially next week.
Yeah. for something a bit more spooky than this one. As we get closer and closer to Halloween, the jeers and laughter turn into screams and terror, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm
looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
I'm excited to see what happens.
Mm-hmm. But before we let you go for the day, here are our calls to action.
Our lovely new friend, Trisha, whom we met through our Die campaign last month, is one of the people behind Roarcat Reads, which runs events, makes content, and hosts community that is by and for LGBTQIA2S+ people. Mm-hmm. They have a charity event coming up, and we would love for more people to hear about it. Mm-hmm. So here's the little blurb I told Trisha I would read. Ready for me to do my amazing announcer voice? It's probably going to be terrible. Please. I'm so sorry, Trisha. Roarcat Reads is back with their 5th online TTRPG Streamathon and silent auction on Saturday, October 21st to raise $1,000 for Rainbow Refugees Prism Collective to help an LGBTQ refugee move to Vancouver. You can follow @Roarcat Reads on Instagram to stay up to date on all things queer and nerdy. Mm-hmm. We will put a link to their website and to that Instagram in our show notes, but hopefully you can follow along and support them. They're doing some really cool cool stuff with their Canadian community and then a fun online worldwide community as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And they are fantastic people, so definitely support them if you are able to.
Yes, please.
For us, we have started adding some events for AcadeCon for this year, which is at the beginning of November. Early event sign-up has already started for the VIPs. There's not too many VIP badges out there. I think there was only 30 or 45 on sale. I cannot remember. But if you got a VIP badge during the Kickstarter, you can check those out right now. The public sign-up will come later this week. I think it's on Saturday, but check the AcadeCon website or the Tabletop Events page to find out for sure, and a link will be in the show notes to those pages. As for our events, right now, the ones that are on the schedule, I have a couple of games of It's a Magical Beach episode where you play as regular bees who happen to be magical girls on vacation. What could go wrong? And our Final Gathering, which we've talked about plenty of times on this show. Both games written by me, and I'm really excited to run those. Amelia, you might be running a couple events potentially.
Yeah, I want to try and get some stuff figured out. I have not had brain, ADHD meds have been on back order for a while. So, when I can.
Working through it. So we're working through that, but we both do have an event together Friday evening. We have a C3 panel planned where we are going to be creating a group of random characters with the audience. We're going to be using our random character generator that can be heard on a previous series, and we'll be rolling dice with everybody there and getting ideas and suggestions from the audience for what all this stuff means.
It's heavy on audience participation. It was so much fun last time we ran it in 2019. Yeah. I would really love for lots of people to be there so that we can really be ridiculous.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be a ton of fun. Bring your own dice if you can. Otherwise, we'll have some on hand. But either way, it's going to be phenomenal.
I'm excited.
So if you're attending, check out our events. We'll have links to all of those in the show notes as we have links to them.
If you enjoy what we're doing on our show here and you want to directly support us, you can check us out on Patreon. We have multiple tiers. All of them are amazing. Have such great rewards. Aren't we awesome? Let me tell you how awesome we are. Everyone will get access to our chit chat episodes, which are Ryan and I just talking and being friends. You get bonus outtakes. The $5 tier gets access to our bonus episodes and early release episodes. The $10 tier includes video chats with us and other patrons at that level, as well as exclusive stickers every month. Speaking of which, we have a brand new patron to welcome and to thank. Brian Kurtz, thank you so much for your generosity, and we are so happy to have you in our growing community.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Brian, for joining us. In addition to that, we also thank everybody else that has been continuing to support the show. We're never going to stop being grateful to our absolutely amazing community. And we're going to be thanking you all right now, as usual, starting with Lieutenant and DJ G, aka Tigranosaurus. Thank you both so much.
Eric Bonts and Daryl Holiday II, thank you for believing in us.
Shadim Cabal and the Shyest Barbarian, we are so grateful to you.
Thanks, Benjamin Sweeney and Lorcan McGinnis. We are glad to have you with us.
Thanks to Rob Fletcher and Kevin Brown. So glad to have you backing us.
Tentacle Duck and Cole McCallum, thank you for your support.
John Adamus and the intriguingly indestructible iguanas and their indescribable improvised instrumental interludes into insect inequality. You shouldn't have, but we are so glad that you did.
No, genuinely, we are so glad that you did that. I love it so much. Thanks to Carlos Salazar and Eric S.
Ross Kingston and Iat Patmeyer, we are appreciative of your support. Thank you so much.
Thank you to Soragoth and Liam G.
Thanks, Brian Colm and Garden GM. So glad to have you here.
Dark Mirror and Tom, thanks for believing in us.
Blue Kryptonite and Danny, thanks for supporting our dreams.
Nicole Trainer and Liam Murray, thank you so much.
Satwant Kangura and Kenning, thank you for supporting our dreams as well. And thank you to all of our future supporters. Your assistance helps pay for the production of the show and really takes the weight off our shoulders every month. You'll also be joining an incredible community on our Discord at discord.charactercreationcast.com and get exclusive patron-only channels.
Another way to really help us out is by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, Podcast Addict, and Facebook. We will read any new 5-star reviews right here in our calls to action and thank you personally. And we have a brand new review right now.
We do.
Right now. This minute, Ryan. Right now.
I know. All right. I'm going to read it. This one comes from a very familiar name from the last 3 minutes. Brian Kurtz, brand new patron, brand new review leaver.
Hey, I've heard of them.
Yeah, everything's coming up Brian in today's episode. From the United States of America on iTunes, titled, Let's Make Some People. This sounds familiar. Oh my goodness, have I not left a review yet? Well, no time like the present. This podcast is a joy to listen to, and the hosts, Amelia and Ryan, are such thoughtful and creative individuals that I love it when my podcatcher tells me I've got a new CCC episode to listen to. They've done so many episodes featuring character creation for so many different games that it would be almost impossible to pick a favorite. So instead, I'll just talk about the most recent series, Series 64, about the Flabbergasted RPG. Great choice of game, A wonderful discussion with designers Fleur and Chelsea that really gave us great insights into the game, and an absolutely delightful world created by Amelia, Ryan, Fleur, and Chelsea, featuring rival matchmaking clubs and characters that somehow felt incredibly alive, even though no actual game was played. Well done, Character Creation Cast. You can print off this review and add it to the trophy room in your clubhouse.
You should make a wall, like a trophy wall in your your studio.
I do have plenty of room.
You could just print off and frame, like little tiny frames of all of the reviews.
I might have to do that now.
Thank you, Brian. That was incredible. That was
yes, thank you so much, Brian.
And I also love that we have such fantastically three-dimensional characters and we never play the games.
And we never play the games.
We never play the games. Like that no actual game was played. That's my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
That is so good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That is all we have for today's episode. We are really glad you could join us for the start of our spooky kind of series. It will get spookier. Stay tuned. Next week, we will get slightly creepier. Dun, dun, dun. Until then, take care, everyone. Stay safe out there. Drink some water. Spread some joy in a spooky way. And keep making those amazing people. We'll see you next time.
Character Creation Cast is a production of the One Shot Podcast Network and can be found online at www.charactercreationcast.com. Head to the website to get more information on our hosts, this show, and even our press kit. Character Creation Cast can also be found on Twitter and Blue Sky at CreationCast, or on our Discord server at discord.charactercreationcast.com. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Bolter, and I can be found on Twitter and Blue Sky at Lord Neptune or online at lordneptune.com. Our other host, Amelia Antrim, can be found on Twitter and Blue Sky at Ginger Reckoning. Music for this episode is used with a Creative Commons license or with permission from the podcast they originated from. Further information can be found within the show notes. Our main theme music is Hero Remix by Steve Combs and is used with a Creative Commons license. This podcast is owned by us under Creative Commons. This episode was edited by Ryan Bolter. Further information for the game systems used and today's guests can also be found in the show notes. If you'd like to support our show, find us on Patreon. Get access to bonus episodes, exclusive merch, and much more at patreon.com/charactercreationcast. Thanks for joining us. And remember, we find that the best part of any role-playing game is character creation. So go out there and create some amazing people. We'll see you next time.